Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, with all due respect, I think the members sitting here are well aware of the processes and the strategies and the relevant departments responsible for various crimes. Minister, we didn't get the confidence here today that SAPS is actually doing that which you emphasize to serve and protect and to prevent crime. Instead, you now say that, you believe that, we believe that GBV will be resolved by SAPS. That is not true. We don't believe that. But the role that you are meant to be playing, we don't see that happening at the police station. We do have national instructions that speaks to the responsibility of members and in terms of what they are mandated to do after hours when social workers are not there. We don't see those national instructions being implemented in communities. We don't see the police stations having the relevant forms as per the Children's Act and as per those national instructions when they do removal of children who are at risk. So we don't see that at any of your police stations. We don't see the National Drug Master Plan finding expression at your police station in terms of Section 33 when it comes to involuntary placement. The things that you are mandated to do, we don't see it happening and unfolding at your police stations. I also think that it's an insult for you to tell us that here we are sitting focusing on the strategies and not the impact. We are not seeing impact on the ground. I think it's a sad day when we sit here and we highlight these cases, because why are we even conducting oversight as members whenever we mention police stations that are in a dire state as we speak, when we say to you, there's only one panel beater, where we say to you, there's only one spray painter, and still we get a response that says, we are looking into it, maybe during the next phase or during the next cause. That means you are not doing what you are actually saying, combating crime and preventing crime. All our police stations, the few stations that has been missing, that has had challenges, here we are dragging on with a Philippi case, Chair, for more than 2 months. We can't conclude on that Philippi matter that has been brought to Parliament. We are being told almost it's part of the stream. Here we have brought Eldorado Park, Ravensmead. I'm speaking about a police station. Not one of these members here can tell us today, members, based on what you have brought to our attention as a portfolio committee, we will ensure that at the next meeting or in the next 2 weeks, we will give you a response. That makes us come across as idiots in our constituencies, running around like headless chickens when we bring these concerns to your attention and you do absolutely nothing and you tell us that it will be looked at or you're going to have a task team. It's unacceptable to tell us here today that we expect you to deal with issues of GBV when not a single police station that you have is fully capacitated. Then why do you have a VEC center at your police stations? Why are those VEC centers funded if it's not your mandate at all?
That's the point.
Minister.
We haven't said what she's saying. We haven't said that it's not our mandate. We haven't said that. But the main point I want to say, when you go to a police station and you don't find the things that she's complaining about, it doesn't mean that we're not doing work outside society. There may be boxes that are not ticked in the police station file, but that does not mean that police are not doing work in that community. It doesn't mean that. Thank you.
Honorable Lehlape.
Thank you very much, Chair. I feel very provoked by the minister's statement now that he just made. Firstly, because GBV is a serious crime in South Africa. And he gives us an impression that they are working on GBV because they've got mandate to do it. He does not give us confidence that SAPS really want to combat and prevent GBV in this country. It's not true that social workers can stop GBV. It's not. And the fact that we have so many GBV cases that are being reported is also because they are not concluded. And some of them, there are no arrests even made, because you tell us about arrests and then you say conviction and all of those things. But in most cases, people who are perpetrators of GBV don't even get arrested. They spend 1, 2 hours, 3 hours in a police station and they're out. And for you to make that reckless statement to say police officers are not trained to deal with GBV cases. It can't be, Minister. It's very reckless for you to say that as a Minister of Police. And I feel very undermined for women and children who are going through all these cases, these GBV cases on a daily basis. For a minister to come to a portfolio committee and say police officers are not trained to deal with GBV cases. The fact that they have to come and open cases in police stations means that it's the responsibility of SAPS to make sure that they prevent and they make arrests and they attend to those cases. Yes, there is a need of social workers, but that does not entirely say that police officers are now monsters, that they cannot be incorporated in the socio-economic issues that are happening in communities and GBV cases in particular. And Minister, you can't come here and cry at the wrong funeral. The fact that social workers or social development is not assisting on coming to the party to assist SAPS cannot be a cry here at this portfolio committee. You've got cabinet meetings. Those are some of the issues that must be raised there. Yes, we are agreeing that we must have joint meetings with other departments. That is part of our responsibilities as a portfolio committee, but you can't cry at the wrong funeral. I feel very provoked that you make such a reckless statement on GBV cases with the current conditions that we have as a country on gender-based violence. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Manye.
Thank you, Chair. 3 issues on my side. Firstly, on the counter assault situation, I must say, personally, I was offended by the IPIT statement that welcomed the arrest of the policeman that shot the robber. Chair, from where I sit, and I know I've got a firearm, so I know all the wherewithal about when to shoot and all of that. But we have a situation here where people abuse these loopholes in the law, and we then fall into it. I mean, if I take a gun and go and shoot people in a church and then quickly throw the gun away and raise my hands, and then they get told therefore that at that point I'm not posing a risk. I've just killed 5 people and all of that. I've already declared my intention of being a killer, as it were. And all of a sudden, because I've just thrown my gun down and raised my hands, all of a sudden I'm no longer posing a threat. I think I'm trying to find a parliamentary term to describe this unacceptability of that situation, Chairperson. In this particular case, I mean, this guy goes and stabs a policeman. Imagine, a policeman is an institution. You go and stab an institution on the face, on the body, on the head, and then we get told that when a policeman removes this person from society, then all of a sudden this policeman has broken the law, must get 15 years. I think something very wrong with that situation, Chairperson. If I was a policeman, I would be discouraged if that's the situation. I think something must give. We can't have that situation. You establish your intention, and the fact that you've thrown the gun away should not remove the fact that you've just killed somebody. I mean, of those steps that policeman was suffering from this criminal, one of them could have killed this policeman. So why are we all of a sudden now becoming these nice people? I think we are using the human rights to the detriment of what is right. I have a problem with that approach. So put that aside. Minister, I think the generals here had gone some way in responding to my question, and your intervention has taken me back, so I'm going to go back to this thing. The one general accepted the issue of capacitation, that she's going to address it there, tick a box. In that capacitation, ma'am, I was going to ask that, can you add one thing? Fitness. I just have a problem with the policeman, that you look at this policeman, you see this policeman cannot run and all of that. This policeman is not fit, cannot wrestle some of these people down, some of these criminals down. So a policeman must look, I think physical fitness must be a tool of trade. You can't have a policeman that looks like he or she needs help. A policeman must look intimidating, must look at this policeman and know that I can't take a chance here. So I want to ask what is being done to ensure that police are fit, and fitness is actually not only a tool of trade, but it's a condition of employment and keeping employment. It's just unreal that we have a policeman that is just totally unfit. And all that. You've got criminals that are fitter than police. That's why we have a problem. So that's on the capacitation issue. So in the next presentation, I'm sure they'll talk to this. I'm requesting that they must address this on this next one. On that issue of capacitation on the human resource element, Minister, here's the issue. I think General Masemula had addressed it to an extent where he said, we have scientists and all of that and all of that. That was talking to the issue. Now, my request is that I think we should not straitjacket police and say police are just there to chase criminals. This is now 2024, new age. Police are sophisticated, there's elite units and all of this. So I'm arguing that as a short-term intervention, you can talk to other ministries to go and assist as a short-term intervention. But I'm arguing that police must employ social workers and then train them on policing as a next step as it were. But you should deliberately employ. I mean, that's why I have a problem with this general recruitment of 7,000 of people that at some stage, I don't know how they get to know things at a high level as it were. Here's an example, Minister. I can see you still frowning, so I still think you don't get me. Yeah, here's a situation. For instance, let's say you've got labor inspectors. I used to be in the labor department. Let's say you have labor inspectors. Now, at a high level, you think that a labor inspector is somebody that just does with the LRA, Labor Relations Act and all of that. But strictly speaking, labor inspectors must be specialized. You go and inspect a building. You're a labor inspector. You've got no civil engineering background. How do you know then that that building is unsafe if you don't have that background? You go to inspect a building. You're supposed to say that the electrification of this building does not meet the standard. But if you haven't got that training of electricity, you're not electrical engineer or these fancy things, how are you going to do this? So I'm asking the same level of sophistication with police, that our recruitment in the police must be deliberate. It mustn't be an afterthought. It mustn't be hope for the best in the 7,000. We must say that for forensic unit, for instance, I'm looking for people with chemical engineering background. I mean, if I am a thief, if I'm a drug pusher, and I take this powder, I put it in the grandpa wrapping. A constable will not know the difference between the drug and grandpa, but a person trained in chemicals and that space, by visual inspection, might already see something that an untrained eye cannot see. So I'm agitating, Minister, for specialized recruitment, that I don't want to hear the 7,000 of all and sundry. I'm looking for a differentiated recruitment where the recruitment is going to say, this time around, police were looking for social workers. This time around, police were looking for a particular skill set, they know it better, and all of that. So that when you say, Minister, that you want effective policing, I'm arguing that you will not have effective policing if you don't have competent policemen and women in specialized fields, as it were. So you need to recruit with an agenda. I think that closes my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Manye. Then lastly, Honorable Schikkeling.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I must tell you that the minister's remarks about GBV really didn't come across very well. Really, I understand when he says that GBV should be an issue that social workers must know about. But Minister, your police members in your communities must know what's going on. Because 90% of these offenders are repeat offenders. The police know who they are. They know where they live. They know who they are. They get locked up and a few days later they're let out again. So you can't come tell us that the police, it's not their responsibility. This is a whole of society approach. It's everybody's responsibility. It's not just one section of government's responsibility. And I really do want to disagree with you. And the comments really didn't come across very well. Because you cannot deny that the FCS is undercapacitated. We know that they're undercapacitated. Everybody sitting in this room knows that they're undercapacitated. So perhaps before we make such remarks, we must make sure that we're fully capacitated to ensure that from the policing side, GBV is looked after. And then, Minister, just to put you at ease, I wrote a letter to the chairperson on the 22nd of October, and I asked for a trilateral meeting between the police, the social development and justice to specifically speak about this. I asked for an emergency joint meeting to address the dire need for coordinated interventions at protecting South Africa's women and children from heinous crimes such as rape, sexual assault, and other violent offenses. I've asked for that meeting. So you can't come say this committee must ask for the meeting. I asked for the meeting. I've done it already almost a month ago. So we've done that. And we look forward to that meeting happening sooner than later because we do have a problem in our country and we need to address this as soon as possible. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Schikkeling. Is there any minister, would you like to say something? Okay. Colleagues, I'm going to let us break for lunch. We will have to shorten it slightly for the sake of time. So let's aim for 20 to 25 minutes and try to be back by 20 to 2, so 13:40 if possible. Honorable Manye?
Through you, Chair, I just want to check one thing. At one point, you said those questions which I wanted answers another time. You said at discussion time. I don't know which is this discussion time.
Yeah, we've actually got 2 after lunch, Honorable Manye, so
Okay.
we can gladly add them there, okay? Thank you, colleagues. Let's go have some lunch.